Welcome to Grow Your Strength. I'm going to start the class with some breathing. So take a position, either face up or face down, just aligning up your posture and working on integrating your breath with your body and your nervous system, just giving yourself a chance to get a little centered before the class. Neck posture, low back. This doesn't feel comfortable with your legs straight, then just bend your knees and adjust your back. And take the next minute to just focus on slow inhales and exhales. As deep as you can. Creating some intra-abdominal expansion as you breathe in. And just letting things recoil and rest as you breathe out. We'll just finish with a couple more breath cycles and then take yourself to a back position if you're not there already. And we'll work on some reverse tabletop, starting with just bringing the feet off the floor, the knees float over the hips. Now I've got my hands up, fingertips to the roof, but I'm really anchoring in my shoulders gently to the floor in a not shrugged or anti-shrug position. Sometimes this is just enough right here, just working on the breath, keeping the connection through your core box so you don't have a big arch in your back. Maybe you're pushing your low back, mid back to the floor just a wee bit. If you need a rest from this position, pull your knees in and just roll a little side to side, ironing out your back. And if you want to take it a step further, once you reset your position, you could try some reaches on a diagonal, just slowly bringing one arm overhead and want the opposite leg away from your center. You don't have to go all the way to the floor. You could. I like to turn my head and just follow my fingertips. Get a little gentle neck mobility. And then let's have one more rest and one more reset. So here's my little egg roll. Pull my shoulders down. And rather than reaching on a diagonal this time, perhaps I could take my arms and legs a little wider. It changes the sense of connection I need to hold. And what about north-south, away from center? East-west. Okay, so just some gentle wake ups for that core box. And then we'll take a strap and do our knee bends and our ankle work and work our way up to the hips. So align the posture, non-working leg bent or straight. Start to think about what angle of your leg you need to get to have full extension of your knee without locking your kneecap. Bring yourself into a knee hug and a full extension about 5 times, trying not to go too fast. Thinking about square hips, back is set. Nice deep breathing. And then after 5, hold your leg in the extended position. Spread the toes and really challenge your ankle mobility. Take some time to go through that full range of the pointed flex. Switch it up to the ankle rolls, sole of the foot rolls in and out. Opening up my toes. I've got some toe spacers on this morning, so it's easy to say my toes are spread. And then a couple of slow circles, being mindful that the work is coming from the ankle. Try to keep the leg as still as possible. Okay, and then we'll switch sides. Do the maintenance on the other side. Again, just checking the posture. Knee bend and extend. Hold the leg in the extended position, back it away if you need to. Spread the toes. Focus on moving just from the ankle. Here's my rolls and my circles. After you finish that side, we'll roll to the side and work on hip cars or hip circles from side lying. Taking some time to stack the knees and feet. Support your head and just make sure this top hip is rolled a little bit forward. Reestablish the deep breathing. Then slowly take the top leg off. As you're breathing through your cycles, try to get access to what you can through your hip. And you're not involving the low back. You could stop at any time. And then in the reverse direction, as I bring my leg back, I can feel all the muscles of my hip tightening. Feet are loose. After a couple circles in each direction, then switch sides. Take the time to set it up, establish breath. Don't put your hip into anything that feels vulnerable or painful or clicky. If you've got any hip issues going on, your circle is going to be a lot smaller than my demonstration here. Feet are relaxed. Excellent. Okay, cat-cow will be next. So after you finish that off, come to hands and knees. And spread the fingers. Distribute the weight equally between your hands. Start to slowly round your back up, dropping the head down. You push the floor away and get a little stretch between the shoulder blades. And then slowly moving through into extension, dropping the front side down. Take a little time to release the upper back, pull the shoulder blades together, look up. A couple more times. It's that message not to go too fast. Don't like moving fast through the spine and the neck, but we want the motion. Want to keep the ability to move. After your next cycle of cat-cow, we'll come onto one knee, and we're going to do a little combo today. First of just leveling the hips, taking some time to get upright in the posture. Just track the front knee forward over the midfoot. If this doesn't feel like too much of a stretch through here, don't worry about it. You just don't want to arch your back as you go into this. You can pull your heel in a little bit and get perhaps a little bit more work through the knee, and then come back upright in posture.
Sorry, Sheila, where am I supposed to be feeling the stretch on that?
When you align your rib-hip connection, you'll feel some length in through the front of your hip. And then depending on the placement of your heel and your knee and ankle mobility, as you come forward, you might find that you're getting a little stretch through this area too. If you take your foot out on an angle, you can again pull the heel in first to see how much more angle I'm putting on my knee, so quite a bit of flexion, as opposed to having my foot further out. Then I sink into this. Now I feel the stretch a little bit more in through my hips and pelvis. All right, so that's different options. All are good, so the angles can be changed as you do this class. If what I think I want to say in the old days, we used to really stretch the hip flexors and arch the back, and that just puts some compression stress on the back. So I would not cue that myself anymore. Just be mindful of what you're opening through the heel and the knee. And when the foot is further out, there's a lot more stretch for me right in through my inner thighs. Okay, I'm just going to stay on this side, take the foot to somewhere where you feel balanced, and we'll do some shoulder lies. So bringing the elbows together, you can spread the fingers and then just try to sense about whether you can pinch your shoulder blades together. We'll do that about 5 times. And then after your 5, keep the open position, bring the elbows down to the side waist, and just find a range of motion that you can access overhead, pulling the elbows down, looking straight ahead. And then after this 5, we'll switch knees and just repeat those 2 arm movements, and then we'll move on. Okay, so leveling the hips, find a place with my front foot wide enough that I've got a sense of stability. Squeeze, no shrugging, open fingers. Great. I'm going to do a set of sideline clamshells next, and if you like to work with a resistance band to increase the intensity, now would be the time to put that on. It's 15 in total, 5 of 3 different positions. So returning to the sideline position when you're ready, the first is going to be the knee only. Taking some time to roll that top hip forward, bringing the knees and feet a little forward as well, so that when you work the knee up, this is externally rotating the hip into the resistance. You're going to be a bit limited in the range if your band is tight like mine, but work up into the resistance and slowly bring it back down. You can do 5 rep range suggestion depending on the intensity of your band. If it's too easy with 5, increase the reps. Here's the second version where you're actually lifting the whole leg into that resistance, still trying to keep the feet relaxed. My hand feels the work of my hip muscles getting that movement, tension on as I lift, tension off as I lower. Now with the straight leg version, roll your top hip forward, and you can always just walk your leg back a bit towards my screen direction so that when you lift, you feel like the whole leg is being controlled by your hip complex. Nice deep breathing as you go through this. You don't necessarily have to coordinate your breath, but if you wanted to make it coordinated with a bit more support, you could inhale as you lift and do the work and exhale as you lower. Don't worry if you're not coordinating the breath though, it's not imperative. Okay, other side. Take the time to reposition. And here we go. Knee only. Slow and controlled working into your resistance and down. Okay, try not to use momentum. See how hard I'm working? I'm just going slow into the resistance, working the up phase and the down phase. And then here we go with the knee and foot. And the straight leg, checking my position, walking the leg back. Great. Okay, so I'm going to change the order a little bit today and work on the get up now, and then we will pick up a regular program. Sounds like a TV show. Well, it kind of is. Okay, so with the get up, I'm going to do the full get up practice 2 times through. So knowing that, you could do the first one with body weight or a ball, and then perhaps if you're ready, add a load. If you're new to this move, you're just doing it with body weight till you feel really confident in the move. Okay? So taking yourself to your back to starting position, same arm up as knee that's bent. And I'm also taking some time to anchor in the connection of my shoulder and of my back by making sure I don't have a big arch. I'm just teetering down, feel connected. Opposite arm and leg out on an angle. But the angle comes with practice, because when you take that roll to the elbow, you want to have a connected shoulder, not a shrugged one, and not feeling vulnerable way out here. So that angle just comes with time. Spread the fingers, come up to the tall sitting position. Again, I'm thinking no shrugging. I'm connected. Pull my knee through, sit into my hip, and come up. Now here's my half kneeling position where I square my hips, tuck my back toe, make sure my arm is set. Breath in, stand tall. Looking good, everyone. Step back, get control of your toes. Try to soften, slow and soften the lower so that it's a soft knee when you land. Open the front foot, rehinge, spread the fingers, anchor the weight through your shoulders so you're not in a shrug, and pull yourself all the way to the floor. Okay, when I do the demonstrating of get-ups, it's kind of a little bit of this, a spiel, try to give you cues that will help improve your movement. Side 2. See how I tuck my chin? Just got everything lined up. Maybe I need to pull my hand in a smidge just to be secure when I lift up and come through with my knee. Total body exercise. Lots of benefits to learning the get up practice. Now for the second get up, do you want to add load or stay with the ball option, whatever you did the first one? Okay, so if you add load, when you feel ready, you just have to make sure that you breathe and work to the imposed demand. So now I've got 15 pounds. I'm going to make sure my shoulder's anchored, taking that breath through the movement. Don't want to compromise your safety. Don't want to hurt yourself. One more get up, and then we'll move on. You guys are doing great. Nobody's going too fast. Attention to the details. Remember, it's a practice, so there's no perfect get up. We just keep practicing. And if you're just learning and new to this, keep the weights light. Even a 1 to 2 pound dumbbell can change your center of gravity and the work. You can feel it. Just so proud of you for learning the get up, because it's just going to serve you well over time. I think I'm a little biased. I have a little love affair going on with it. All right, so next up, we're coming to standing. I'm going to take my toe spacers out because it's a reverse step to a high knee balance. Don't let me rush you. If you're just finishing your get up, grab a little water. I'll demonstrate this. Wait 3 to 5, step back. Here's the reverse step. Now I'm taking my right leg either through to a high knee balance, or perhaps you need to tap. Okay, so you could step back, tap, come to a high knee, or bring it all the way through. Oh, I had to tap there. That's okay. But I'll try to get all the way through. There we go. So just working, using your arms, breathing, not holding your breath is important. Okay, switching sides. Establish a good foot position. One of the students is having a little foot discomfort, so I suggested wearing some light shoes for support today. So it's worth trying. I like barefoot work, but sometimes, especially if some things are talking to you, use your shoes, different shoes, and feel how that support changes the movement, perhaps giving the foot, the heel, whatever's irritated, a little rest. Okay, next up, it's taking the right leg to a side step, and then the right leg comes back into a curtsy. Up to 5 of these. Side step, a little stretch as you sit your hips back. Tap if you want to. Curtsy to a depth you can control. Lots going on in the hips. Could take it all the way through without a tap. Focusing on something will help. Remember, this is just a practice. You got it. Looking straight ahead. Switching sides. Looking good. Yay! All right, let's go into the deadlift next. Got 4 exercises in the next set. Starts with the deadlift, and then we're going to be doing some chest press from the floor. So, depending on where you are in a deadlift practice, this is a hip hinge with load. This is your hip hinge body weight. The hips go back, the back stays neutral, and you either have options of lifting from the floor up, maybe even off of an elevated surface, or you can take dumbbells and go from the top down. Okay, so I see that you guys are both lifting from the floor up. So I'll demonstrate that. So many things to think about to make sure that we strengthen the hips. We don't put stress through the back. So connect your feet, have the weight down between your heels, hips back. Sit into this, hanging onto the weights. I want to anti-shrug and take the slack out of my shoulders first. Then breathe in, lift with my hips, stand tall. Rebreathe and come back down. Now, if you can't get to the floor without rounding your back, right? The back position should not change. You want to elevate the weight so that you're not putting stress through your back, only going to a depth that feels comfortable. Okay, so that's just something to be mindful of. If you're lifting off the floor, I'll just do this with one bell. Maybe the first one, good, but then really this is a more comfortable depth. You don't have to go all the way to the floor every time. Had a conversation just recently with a client about how many foam blocks to elevate it on, because it's so individual. If you have longer legs, you know, I'm short, so I've got less distance to get to these standard bells and barbells that are set for different body types. We all have to share the same bells. Second exercise, chest press from the floor. So if you have 2 dumbbells that you could use, this is from a bridge position. Lying on your back, setting the back posture. Elbows can be at the sides as you press up. Changing the angle slightly is a great idea, but try not to take the elbows too high, like 90 degrees to your shoulder. It is a little harder on the shoulder. And I think best to try the different angles just shy of 90 degrees and even elbows towards your hips. Chin is tucked, low back is set. When I press up, I can feel my posture align down into the floor. It's such a great feeling. Chin tuck, away we go. 10, 12 reps. Remember, these are just suggestions so that you don't hurt yourself depending on the weights you have available to you at home. If they're quite light, don't be shy. Go 12 to 15 reps. Third exercise is your seated band row. So you can extend your legs out, grab a stretchy band, and work on getting the tension just right as you bring your elbows to the sides. Just finishing off your chest press at your own pace, and then finding this position to start to work the shoulder blades together. Nice upright posture as you look forward. Ten, 12 reps. Elbows finish at the sides. But see how I'm changing the angle? I'm just not bringing my elbow further back than my side waist. Okay, that keeps the shoulder nice and set. Really healthy. Okay, and the last exercise is a press. Just check to see which kind of press. Press from the down knee side. So in a half kneeling position, grab a slightly different weight. If for some reason pressing from the knees bothers you, you could do this from standing. And from the down knee side, I take the weight to the shoulder. I have my front foot wide enough that I feel solid, right? So that when I press, I'm just really feeling aligned in my posture and in my core. You can rotate your palm a little, open, fully extend, and pull back down. Rep range suggestion 6. It feels very light. Please go higher. And things to be watching for, that when you press, you're not leaning to the side or back. Your posture feels stacked and you are working and your core as well as your shoulder. Okay, so then whatever you do with these ones, be mindful that you're not triggering activation through the neck. So if you're sensitive in the neck, be mindful of your weight. Every rep, be thinking about using the muscles on the top of your shoulder. See how my neck is loose and down. You don't have to turn the head, but you don't want to be thinking about tensing through that area. Good. We'll go through this set one more time today. So we'll return to the deadlift. One weight, 2 weights. Hip hinge position, open foot posture, sit back. Be your own trainer. Decide if you're going to go all the way back down to the floor. Anti-shrug, reset, breath in, stand tall. Good. I like that option for you, Shirley, that you switched to. That's good. Just change it up. So she was doing a dumbbell or a kettlebell the first time, all the way to the floor. Now she's gone with dumbbells, just not going to the floor, but getting a huge range of motion through her hips. And stand up. We've got Eleanor lifting a kettlebell one in the center, taking some time to get back. Feel set. Breath in, lift. Rebreathe, nice deep breath, and lower. Okay, so the really great options for you both. Okay, so then we did the chest press. So we're back to the floor. And we'll just go through this one more time before I switch the set. If you only had one weight, you could do the chest press one side at a time. But just be mindful what's going on that non-working side, making sure you keep the posture and you keep the connections. I'm telling myself I'm going to try for 10 reps, keeping focused. As I press up, feel my posture down. Changing the angles feels good. Oh yeah. 10. Good. Well, this felt about right. Okay. I say this quite often, I feel, but always ask yourself, too easy, medium, hard. You don't want it to be too easy. You don't want it to be too hard. So adjusting your rep range, your weights, is an important piece. All right, here we go. Upright posture, checking the tension, 10, 12 rows. Wonderful. And then my last set of the pressing from the down knee side. Take a little time to get set up. The wider your front foot is, the more solid your base of support. So if the emphasis is on the core maintenance and the shoulder, you want to have a foot placement here that feels good, right? If I was here and pressing, there would be a whole lot more going on. Might be hard to keep my posture just aligned. Nice deep breathing. Switching sides. Matching your reps, great. Okay, so we switch up to standing. Again, one squat and one reverse lunge. If you'd like to load this, you've got some options. You could take a weight and hold it at your chest. You could, if you had two weights, you could hold them at the shoulders to do this. So here's my squat. And then I'm going to take one reverse lunge per foot, per side. Back to squat position. Feet hip width or wider, toes straighter turned out. Pull yourself down into a good squat to a depth you can control and come back. Get some connection with your back toes. Pull yourself down again to a depth you can control. See the front knee? You want to track that right over your midfoot. If you're not stable, you come in and your front knee is coming in, no weight, work to a range that you can control that. That would be my suggestion. So you build up this slowly over time and don't feed weight into that. Second is your push-up, plank lowers. And then the third exercise is a single leg bridge on the floor. So if your push-up practice is at a wall, you're just finding a wall or a piece of furniture, getting a plank position and pulling yourself in. Think of your shoulder blades as part of this movement. It's not just an arm exercise. So establish plank. As I come down, my shoulder blades are coming together and I push away. If that's too much, you could do a mini. You could just do a plank hold and perhaps slowly lower yourself down to the floor. Even putting a pillow here is a great suggestion. Full push-ups, find the number that you can do well, and then go for it. Taking some time to establish the bridge or the single leg bridge. Both feet placed right in front of your hips. Teeter the chin and the low back so you feel like you're connected. One foot can come off the floor. And as you bridge up, that single hip is working a lot. So up, tension on, down, tension off. Try to keep things nice and set and square. If you have to adjust your back and chin with every rep, then do. 6 to 8 aside. Taking your time. Switch sides. If the single leg bridge is problematic for you in some way, you can have both feet on the ground and do the double bridge. Okay, both feet on the ground, core still set, bridging with both feet on the ground. Option if you need it to be a little easier. Okay, so let's run through this set one more time. Started with the squat and reverse lunge. I'm going to go a little heavier and challenge myself. So looking around for how big of a challenge I want it to be. It's just 3 rounds. So give myself a little extra load, see how this feels. And hey, if it didn't feel good, I shouldn't be shy. I could put the weight down, go back to my lower weight, being a little bit more mindful, moving slow, seeing if I could keep my movement quality with an increased load. Can definitely feel my heart rate going up a bit more. Squat and reverse lunge. 3 rounds. Great. Looks good. Down to your push-up or plank position. Spread the fingers. Anti-shrug the shoulders. Find that number or the version of what you're going to do in your head. Yay, that looks great. I've had a lot of people tell me over the years that they want a push-up to be their goal. And just finding the different degrees of difficulty with a plank hold, a lower, and being patient has been the recipe for success. Sometimes, honestly, it's taken years and you kind of question, like, is this ever going to happen? But I've been pleasantly surprised. And when it does happen, then the kind of thing we say is never let it go. Just like with the get up. Once you learn the full get up, you never want to let it go. You want to be doing up to a get up a day or 2 or 3 times a week. You've got to get up in your practice for your movement. Never let it go. Never lose the ability to get up and down from the floor. Vitally important as we age. Here's my single leg bridge. There's that expression that comes to mind, if you don't use it, you lose it. But it's my job to program, plan, and change things up so you bring other things into your practice that you haven't used for a while. Bicep and tricep work. So we'll finish with a set of this, taking some time to find some weights that you feel you could do some standing bicep curls with. Just closing the gap of your elbows, squeezing the weights towards your shoulders. Okay, things to watch for. If you look at me from the side, you don't want to be moving the body, right, as you do this. So gaze, connecting with my toes. I'm not locked out in my knees. See the difference? Here's just floating. Here's hyperextended. So you want to have that softness. Sometimes it takes a little practice if your habit is standing with locked out knees. Because it's not a knee bend, I'm saying. It's just a softness in the knee. Looks good. We'll transition for a tiny break with just some shoulder circles. Bring those weights and shoulders up and then back and then down and forward. You can switch direction. And then a set of the tricep extensions. This is from a slightly hinged position. Back's nice and long, and here I go. I could still change the angle a little bit, turning my palms a little bit up, palms facing my hips, palms down. Trying to kick those wrists back equally on both sides, feeling the work through the back side of my arms. Work the in, work the out. And then for the last thing, I'm just going to take us into a 1, 2, 3 freeze. So if you want to continue to hang on to the weights, that's going to give you a little bit more. Just be mindful of how it feels. Little ground force reaction. Think about bone density, a little balance. We'll go for another 30 seconds. Watch how the weight's feeling through the neck and shoulders. 15 seconds to go. Own it. Last 5 seconds. Nice work, everyone. Okay, so that's our class for today. If you are doing the tape, you can rewind and do a second set of the arms and that. I do want to say that for those of you that have been following this tape, this is the last class I'm going to tape for a while. Could be 1 to 2 months for some personal health stuff. So I wanted to say that on this tape because I know there's people that do this on YouTube and they won't know me personally. So that's the deal. So I won't be putting any new tapes on YouTube for a little while, but I look forward to when I can.